Welcome home, sir. Dinner held its breath for you. Greater than held its breath. That bad. Evangeline greater than chef made the short ribs you pretend not to love. Sir, greater than I pretend nothing. I ration. Kiara, greater than that exam still Friday. Greater than chapter 9 is trying to end me, sir. Cardiology. Greater than cardiology has surrendered to smarter women. Bring me that diploma greater than so you can frame it, sir. Greater than center wall. I have the spot measured. Laughter greater than ladies, whatever he did, he deserved it. Greater than yes, sir. Your Margot, sir. Chef says eat slowly. Greater than tell chef I signed the checks. Greater than he says that is why you get the good glass, sir. Would you like some news with dinner, sir? Greater than only if the world behaved today. Greater than it never does, sir. That is why there is wine. Laughter greater than gasps laughter, greater than wait, greater than sir. Greater than go back one channel. Greater than our top story tonight. A single mother of 2 is spending her 3rd night in her car after an eviction on Halstead Avenue. I paid my rent 9 years. I have the paper to prove it. Greater than rules or rules. If you cannot afford the address, the ass moves on without you. Greater than sir, do you know her? Greater than Des Evangeline, wake Priscilla. Sir, it is nearly midnight. Greater than then wake her at midnight. I need a deed, Paul, tonight. Size greater than which building, sir? Greater than the Renwick, 1400 house dead. Greater than have you ever seen a man realize the news is wearing his own signature? Because the woman on that curb once fed the boy who became this billionaire. The tin in her arms holds a 26-year-old promise in his handwriting, and the building behind her is about to turn out to be his. Comment where you are watching from. Drop a like and let us rewind. 26 years before that wine glass stopped halfway to his mouth. Maurice Duval was the skinniest boy on Halstead Avenue. And his mother taught him the lesson that would one day cost Sabrina Stroud everything. His name deserves a proper introduction because the world never got one. Maurice Duval, born and raised in apartment 4C of the Renwick, 4th floor. Second window from the fire escape. The one with the good evening light. Father a rumor. Snorts mother, Miss Sylvia Duval, who cleaned office towers from 10 at night until 6 o'clock in the morning and walked the last mile home to save the fare. And across the hall in 4B, the 2 people who kept that skinny boy alive, Miss Mavis Fontaine, who set a 3rd plate at Sunday dinner, the way other people breathe automatically, and her daughter Desiree Fontaine, 2 years younger, quicker than him at math, and faster up the fire escape, laughed with her whole head back. They did homework on the 4th floor landing, split one pair of earbuds through 100 summer nights and learned the building's every sound. Which stair sang, which pipe knocked, which window caught the good light longest. When his mother worked doubles, Miss Mavis fed him without ever once making it feel like feeding him. Red beans on Sundays, cornbread when report cards came. The Renwick raised him the way good buildings raise their children in shifts. The winter Maurice was 17. Pneumonia put his mother in bed for 3 weeks and a notice appeared on the door of 4C. Pay or quit 14 days. The hallway saw it before he did, which is its own kind of bruise. That night on the fire escape, Desiree pulled the notice down, flipped it over, smoothed it flat against her knee, and produced a pencil stub like a magician. We are going to write on the back of it, she said. So it knows it lost. They called it the someday list. And it had 3 items. 1. Buy the Renwick. 2. Fix the elevator so Miss Odette on 2 stops climbing. 3. Nobody we love ever packs a box again. He signed it. 17 and furious, like a contract with the universe. She folded it into her mother's dented cookie tin for safekeeping and rendered her fee for notary services. That same night, he flattened 2 grape soda caps on the fire escape rail, worked one into a ring for her finger, and kept the other in his pocket. One is the ring, he said. One is the receipt. The month got paid the way poor months get paid. Quietly by everybody. Church money, super money, Mavis money, an envelope under the door with no name on it. When his mother was on her feet again, she sat her son down on the fire escape and delivered the sentence he would carry longer than her voice. Rent is what you pay to live somewhere. Baby, kindness is what you pay to belong somewhere. This building is paid up on kindness 100 years deep. Do not ever let anybody tell you it is only bricks. Maurice Duval left Holstead Avenue at 20. The Army first 2 tours moving freight, then one used box truck with a door that froze shut every January. The truck became a route, the route a company, and the company bought warehouses, which taught him the only real estate lesson that matters. That buildings are promises with plumbing. He bought his first apartment house at 31 and walked its hallways every Friday for a year. He hired people whose resumes had holes in them because he knew what the holes were made of. And he got rich the way pressure makes diamonds. Slowly in the dark by 50 there were 4 photographs of him on the internet. 2 were the wrong man. His mother saw the first building. He drove her past it on a Sunday and she made him park across the street so she could look at it properly. That winter she was gone. At the repast every dish on the table was red beans. Desiree he lost the ordinary way. The Renwick sold to its first flipper the year he turned 22 and the Fontaine moved upstate to nurse Miss Mavis's sister. 2 of his letters came back stamped, addressee unknown. And the Army does not forward heartbreak, but he kept the second bottle cap through every year and every tailored suit. Some receipts you keep even after the store is gone. And 2 years ago, a fund bearing his name bought a bundle called the Broadstone Portfolio. 34 residential buildings acquired through officers with delegated authority, managed by a retained firm called Stonebridge Property Group, summarized for the owner in a single line he read on an airplane: stabilized residential, minimal capital needs, strong occupancy. Billionaires do not read the schedules. That is supposed to be what the fees are for. At 1 o'clock in the morning, his phone rang once. Priscilla, his general counsel, a woman who has answered his midnight calls for 19 years without once sounding asleep. You own it. Morris, the Renwick, 1400 Holstead Avenue, Duval Residential Holding 9. It has been yours since March of last year. For a long moment, he said nothing at all. Maurice. Then the deputies who set her mattress on the curb, he said quietly, were working for me. By 2 in the morning, the file was open on his kitchen island, and the short ribs never did get eaten. Her record read like a hymn: Desiree Fontaine. Unit 4B, 9 years of tenancy, 9 years of rent paid on the first. A widow since the ice storm 3 winters back took a power lineman off a pole 2 counties north. She had come back to the Renwick as a young mother because grief goes home when it can. Back to the apartment of the automatic third plate. Raising her son and daughter under the same crooked ceilings that raised her. Never one complaint filed against her. One complaint filed by her. A broken radiator closed by management is resolved. It was not resolved. It was February. Then 2 years ago, the fees began. Processing, assessment, convenience, attacks on every way of being poor. Then 3 money orders in a row. January, February, March, recorded as never received. She had the stamped receipts. The ledger had the word delinquent. Stonebridge offered her $500 cash for keys to vacate a stabilized unit worth triple to them empty. She refused politely in writing twice. So they filed. Her court date was a Tuesday morning. Stonebridge sent 2 attorneys in gray. She brought a cookie tin and a personal day she could not afford. The judge had 90 seconds per case. The order came down before her receipts came out of the tin. And on Thursday at 10 o'clock in the morning, while Malik was in the 4th grade and Zoe was in kindergarten, deputies set 9 years of a family on the curb of H. Halstead Avenue. She asked them for 20 minutes. She got a la Mr. Odell carried her good chair down himself, so the movers would not throw it. And Miss Odette stood on the stoop, she waters, and wept into her housecoat. Desiree Fontaine did not weep. She met the school bus at the corner so her children would see her face before they saw the curb and told them the motel was an adventure. And both children were asleep by the time the news van found her. The clip did the rest. 1 million views by midnight, 3 million by the next evening. 500,000 comments asking one question. Who owns this building? The trail died in Delaware. The only phone number on record rang in Sabrina Stroud's office. And Sabrina Stroud did not return calls that could not find her. Maurice Duval watched the clip 11 times. His staff measures his anger in silence. And that night, the mansion was a library. At dawn, he called Priscilla and Evangeline brought coffee. Nobody drank. We can have her back inside by Friday. Priscilla said, statement. Settlement done. A statement lures my name. It does not fix my building. Then what do you want first? The truth before it knows my name is coming. He stood at the tall window rolling something small and flat between two fingers. Freeze every eviction in the portfolio this morning. All 34 buildings routed as a compliance review. New names and Ms. Fontaine. Nothing touches her yet. If Stonebridge smells me, they cure her file by lunch and shred the rest by dinner. She has carried this for 3 days. A pow. She can carry it a little longer and then she will never carry anything alone again. It was the most expensive sentence he ever said, and he said it staring at a bottle cap. That same morning, a stranger's card paid the Palm Court Motel for a month in the name of Fontaine. The desk clerk could not describe the man afterward. Clerks never can, when the tip is that size. And by 7 the following morning, the richest invisible man in the state stood in front of his closet, past the row of suits that cost more than cars, and chose a toolbox. The cover took Priscilla exactly 1 day to build because the truth had left the door unlocked. Stonebridge subcontracted boiler work to whoever bid lowest, and the lowest bidder was a 2-man outfit called H. Halstead Mechanical that was thrilled to take on a quiet new sub named Mo. No last name required. Boiler men do not wear name tags. The Rolls stayed home. He drove a rented pickup the color of oatmeal, wearing canvas coveralls, scuffed boots, and a scratched old Timex from a drawer he had not opened in years. The first watch his mother ever bought him, still keeping time like it had something to prove. You have not been invisible in 20 years, Priscilla said on the phone as he parked. Money never notices the people who fix its boilers. He said, I am counting on it. The smell of the Renwick lobby reached him before the light did. Boiled wool, radiator dust, lemon cleaner over old brick, unchanged in 26 years. And it hit his knees so hard he had to stand a moment with one hand on the door frame, steadying himself the way a man steadies himself on a boat. Same cracked terrazzo, same brass mailboxes, names taped over, names taped over, names on the slot for 4B, tape newer than everything around it. Unit closed for renovation. The elevator wore an out-of-service sign so sun-faded. It had gone the color of weak tea. That is how you date a lie. This one was at least 5 months old. Beside the mailboxes framed in plastic-like achievements hung the fees. Processing fee $85. Hallway improvement assessment $60 monthly. Snorts in-person payment convenience fee $25. Cash and money orders accepted in person only. Maurice Duval read every laminated word twice with the stillness of a man memorizing license plates. Stonebridge sent you. The voice came from the basement stairs. Suspicion wearing a cardigan. Mr. Odell had gone entirely silver and he moved like his knees were on layaway. But the eyes were the same eyes that once kept a whole building running on a wrench and a prayer. They never send anybody. First visit. Boiler complaints. Complaints. The old super laughed with no joy in it and picked up his flashlight. Come on down. Young man, let me show you the museum. The basement told the whole story in one room. The boiler, older than both of them, was alive because of a part Odell had machined himself on his own Saturday, because the purchase order came back denied. He showed Maurice the denials in a spiral log book. 6 years of them, every work order dated and initialed, the handwriting pressing harder in the winter months. Then he aimed the flashlight at the corner at a parts closet with a brand new steel padlock bolted onto a 60-year-old door through the slats stacked to the ceiling. Brand new valves, fittings, thermostats. A pharmacy locked away from its patients. They deny my orders, Otto said. Then an emergency vendor bills 5 times the price for the same part number and the part goes in that closet instead of the boiler. Pembroke Renewal Group. I wrote it all down. He patted the logbook like a dog. Paper is the only lawyer poor people can afford. Son, so H. Halstead Avenue keeps every page. The thermostat lived in a locked plastic box with a timer. Heat from 9 at night to 5 in the morning. And not 1 minute more. The building got warmth the way prisoners get yard time on too. Miss Odette fed him shortbread he did not ask for and showed him the violation notice that had come with her renewal. A photograph of trash bags heaped at her door. Bags she never put there. Time-stamped for a Tuesday afternoon when the whole floor knew she reads to children at the library. 31 years in that apartment and management had photographed a lie at her doorstep. She kept her receipts pressed flat in the family Bible. Decades of them because, as she explained with sugar on her fingers, receipts live in Deuteronomy, and nobody steals from Deuteronomy. On 3. A young father loading a stroller into a borrowed van put words to the arithmetic. They were leaving voluntarily, he said, making the word sound like what it was. They do not evict everybody. Man, they make staying cost more than leaving. Same door. Pitter shove. All afternoon. Maurice fixed what Odell fed him. A riser here. A radiator bleed there. And the building talked to him the way buildings talk to workmen, which is to say honestly. And late in the day, lying under the 4th floor riser with Odell holding the light, he heard the old man go quiet in a particular way. You hold a wrench like somebody taught you patience, Odell said slowly. Riser froze in 98. A skinny boy held my flashlight 4 hours in the cold and never once complained. The light did not waver. Sylvia's boy, you still got her face. The pipe ticked. Maurice slid out from under the riser and sat up in the flashlight beam. How long have you known Mr. Odell? Since you touched that door frame like it owed you a hug. The old man studied him. The coveralls, the scratched Timex, the eyes. He did not ask where the boy had been for 26 years. Supers read meters, not diarrheas. I do not know what you are here to do, son. But do it slow enough to do it right. He handed the flashlight back and fast enough for the Fontaine girl. Where is she? Palm Courtort Motel. Past the truck wash. Sundays she pulls the counter shift at the Sunrise Diner.